Welcome to another edition of the Giants Huddle podcast, brought to you by Citizens, the official bank of the Giants, coming to you from the Senior Bowl at Mobile, Alabama. Here's our next group of player interviews. A lot of good conversations, folks, guys at different spots. A good time for us to kind of learn about some of these prospects that'll be in the NFL draft and figure out what makes them tick. Here are our players. And now we welcome in running back for the national champion Indiana Hoosiers, Kaelon Black. Kaelon, how are you, man?
Feeling pretty good, man. Just waking up, but gotta get rolling, yo.
We got to get rolling is right. So I thought you were rolling yesterday at practice. I want to start there. I thought you ran the ball pretty well. What do you think of the first day and how you did?
I feel like it was pretty decent. I hadn't really done anything since the championship, but I wanted to get my feet under me a little bit. Pick up on the little details and have a great day.
Now, you say you haven't done anything since the championship. That was just like a week ago. Is that like it took 2 or 3 weeks off or anything like that?
Yeah, so what I mean by that is like, I'm one of those guys to where I probably need to keep doing things like over time.
It's like stay in rhythm?
Yeah, to stay in rhythm. So it was good to get out there, though. It was real fun.
Now, a lot of your teammates, and this is not me criticizing them because I totally get it, decided not to do a lot of the All-Star game stuff, right? Because the season just ended. You guys want to rest. I get it. You want to celebrate. You won the title. Why did you want to still come here and do this event, even though you had so much exposure in the college football playoffs, played so well, and I'm sure your body took a hell of a toll too, having such a, what do you guys play, 16 games this year?
Yep.
So it's a long season.
Yeah, I would just say, just to take advantage of the opportunity. We all in different situations, but just to be able to just come out and compete. And, my love for the game is a little bit, it's unknown. So I just wanted to show the scouts that, I have a great love for the game.
What was it about your group, before we get into you in the draft, what was about this Indiana group that allowed it to come together the way it did for you guys to have the type of special season that you did?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like our chemistry off the field was amazing. Those were the things that we focused on as a team. Everyone hung out together. Everyone did things together. And I feel like that's what separated us.
How about the coach? Just watching him, you smiling. Seems like a disciplinarian, but also someone that really gets his guys to reach their full potential, right? What is it about his coaching style and what he has done for you? You were with him for 6 years, correct? So that allowed you guys to reach the heights that you did.
Definitely, man. Just being himself. Like, no one's ever going to take that away from him. He was always great in instilling in us being fast, physical, and relentless, smart, disciplined, and poised. And I just feel like those were things that were engraved in our mind and were things that we knew as a team and tried to execute to the best of our ability.
It seemed that he was, and just the way he talked about you guys, his belief that at the start of the year, this is what you guys were going to do, and he believed it. Did the whole team believe it too because he believed it?
Yes, we did believe it, man. Those one of the things that we were pretty much knowing from, fall camp and even before, even in spring ball. You always have a newer team, you got transfers and young guys, but you just want to make sure everyone is on the same page, and I feel like we've done a great job of that.
All right, let's talk about you now. 6 years. 4 years at James Madison before going 2 years in Indiana, right?
Yep.
Did you ever imagine when you were leaving JMU after 4 years, I'm not sure if you knew you were going to get 2 years or you only thought you had one, that in 2 years you'd be rushing for 1,000 yards, being part of a two-headed monster that was going to a national championship? Was that even like crossing your mind when you made that decision to follow Coach Signetti?
Man, it was, man. I definitely had the belief in Coach Sig. I love being at this level. I just feel like he was going to get it done one way or another, and I'm just glad to be a part of it.
How did you grow as a running back going from JMU to Indiana, where your 6th year was the year where you got the most carries, gained the most yards? Where did you grow the most as a running back?
I definitely feel like my attention to detail in the run game helped me a lot. Just knowing like my opponent better, taking advantage of different safeties and linebackers and the way that they use their techniques, paying attention to the D-line and defense and being able to, if it's an inside zone, being able to jump cut and get back in the crease. Being very detailed is definitely where I was able to separate this year.
I'm sure you thought about this a lot when you were getting there, but now that you went through it for 2 years, what was the biggest difference for a running back at James Madison versus being in the Big Ten, playing the Ohio States, playing the Penn States, playing the Oregons, all those teams?
I would definitely say the biggest difference is in the trenches. The D-line and the O-line is definitely they're bigger. And I just feel like that's where the main difference is.
No, I can't imagine. So you measure just under 5'10", 208 pounds. Is 208 around where you want to play? Do you want to play a little bit heavier, play a little bit lighter? I know sometimes end of a long year, it's hard to kind of keep that weight on from where you start, right?
Yeah, I would say I would like to play around like 210, 211. I feel the most comfortable there.
Oh, that's pretty good. You're only 3 pounds off of that.
Yeah, I didn't even eat breakfast that day. And so I definitely feel like I am around 210, 211 on a great day.
If a fan never watched you play and they asked you, what type of running back are you? What's your style? What do you kind of start at? That's the biggest part of your game that you then build off of. What would you tell them?
I would say my physicality, just my ability to be able to hit the hole when I see it and pretty much impose my will. I just try my best to get vertical and not waste any time.
Open field, you got to put a move on a linebacker. What's your go-to move in space?
I would say a spin move.
You like to stand it?
Yep, a spin move. I just love that in open space. I feel like it's one of those things where it's unexpected because it looks like a juke move at first, but then as soon as you spin, it catches someone off guard.
What's the important part of ball protection when you do that spin move? Because sometimes I see guys spin and the ball can kind of get loose a little bit, right?
Yeah, I would just say to chin it. You just have to chin it, keep your elbow tight. Remember the 5 points of pressure. And that's one of those things where you have to drill it and to remember it.
What are some of the things that you want to show coaches, scouts that are watching on the field? You're going to be talking to them in these meetings. What are the things that you and your team have come up with in terms of goals that you want to show them this week?
Definitely to just show that to be an all-around back, that you can do a lot of different things, that you can pass catch out of the backfield, that you can run efficient and run hard, but also to be able to pass block as well. That's one of the things that allows some running backs to have a longer career when you're able to protect the quarterback.
No, I think that's absolutely right. Where do you think, is that something that you're really still trying to hone in on as you get to the combine, get to your pro day, as you kind of work through this process and you're trying to show NFL teams exactly the type of back that you are?
Yes, sir. That's one of the things that I'm always going to be hard on myself on because it's one of those things where you can never do it enough. You can never get a good enough amount of reps at it. And I just feel like it's one of those things that can separate you from the pack.
What do you think if I asked you what the best part of your game is right now, what are you best at as a running back?
My physicality and getting vertical in the run game.
That is it.
Sure.
All right, I like it.
Yes, sir.
All right. Have you had meetings with teams yet?
Yes, sir.
What are some of the questions that they've kind of been peppering you with in terms of things they're trying to get to learn about you? Maybe not just even as a player, which you've talked about already, but as a guy and kind of what you bring to a locker room.
Yeah, just how's my leadership style? How do you fit in well with the team? Who are you bringing with you? And in a certain situation, if you're able to bring a person with you and from the team, questions like that, involving team and also like, just regular hometown, where are you from? Like, what do you do in your free time? Just getting to, know me as a person.
What was your relationship like with Hemby? Obviously, you guys shared the ball a lot. I haven't seen a lot, but sometimes there can be, I want the ball, I want the ball on the ball. Well, how did you guys kind of work that where you're competing with each other for playing time, but at the same time, you're helping each other win football games?
Yeah, definitely, man. I felt like our relationship was great. I feel like we meshed well together. Two humble guys, and we were just always just willing to do whatever it took to make our team better.
I think that's fantastic. Combine training, what are some of the things that you're really going to be working on in terms of times, events that you think are important for a running back that you want to put your best foot forward when you get to Indy?
Yeah, definitely a heavy emphasis on the 40. I know there's I broke some runs, but I just want to be able to show that I can, run fast for that part. And just making sure that, my agility is correct and being efficient, not wasting any time. I haven't got a start on training yet, but as soon as, Senior Bowl is over, I'll be going down to Bomberitos and making sure that, we cleaning up the details and, running fast.
That's a good thing, by the way. All the guys that have started training already, they didn't win a national championship. So it's a good reason not to have started training yet. Have you run track before, anything like that?
Yes, I have.
The start's really important for the 40.
Very important.
I used to co-host with an NFL corner. He told me, when he first started training, he was like, a 4.6. And then when he got to start that, he cut like 0.2 of a second on this time. How important is getting that start right to make sure that 40 time hits?
It's very important, man. When you're meeting with these training places, that's one of the things that they always tell you. We're going to work on your start heavy. And that's one of the things that can separate you from the pack.
Absolutely right. Finally, when you think about going to the NFL, what are some of the things that you think as a college back jumping to the NFL that you have to make sure that you are good at and proficient at to be a successful back in the National Football League?
Yes, sir. Being efficient and being very attentive to the details and listening to what coach tells you to do. If he wants you to align in this gap, you align in the gap. If he wants your foot on this person's toes, you put your foot on their toes. And also just being able to read defenses, pick up blitzes the right way, and also being able to just pick up blitzes in general as you're reading a defense.
And then finally, coming from a 44-year-old man, I know this sounds ridiculous. Are you getting tired of people throwing he's an older guy, he's 24. I see you're already rolling your eyes. I knew you're probably frustrated by it.
I don't really pay attention to it. My college career is different than everyone else's. People got to realize, I came in 2020, so we already had got a year anyways, and then I tore my ACL the next year. So it's almost like I got a start of my football career my junior year of college. So everyone's journey is different. People are going to say what they want to say, but it's all good.
Yeah, I think you're probably one of the last COVID year guys probably left. There aren't many left in the system where guys have played that extra year. But I was looking at your career. I don't care about the age number. I want to look at the number of carries, right? And early in your career, it's not like you were running it 275 times a year in your first few years. There's not a lot of tread off the tire. You're very fresh.
Right. That's what I'm saying, man. And we just got to let the people talk. They're going to find something. I know we just won a national championship and all, so there's going to be people that feel the need to, knock us for something that we did.
Yeah, and look, careers in the NFL are not long. You know this. You're going to be fine.
Great meet.
Good luck this week. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, now we're joined by Notre Dame wide receiver Malachi Fields. Malachi, how are you, man?
I'm doing good. Appreciate you having me on.
No problem, man. Good to meet you. How do you think first day of practice went for you?
I think it went pretty well. There's always some things to clean up, tighten up out there, but excited for another day and continue to elevate.
Now, you're a unique wide receiver, 6'4", 218 pounds. How do you think you best utilize your size to be an effective weapon outside?
I think just being able to make those contested catches down the field, getting off the ground, being first off the ground to kind of snatch the ball at the air, and then being able to use my size and my feet to create separation at the top of routes.
Now, maybe you answered the question being first off the ground. What do you think the key is to being a good contested catcher?
I think, first of all, just having the mindset when the ball's in the air, it's mine, and then going up and making the play, not waiting for it to drop down, but going up at its highest point and attacking that ball.
Yeah, two parts of it. How much is it identifying and almost judging the ball like an outfielder in baseball, right? And then on top of that, having the body control, right? So you're running really fast, and a lot of times you have to stop and jump, and sometimes guys get out of control, they lose track of the ball. How important are those two aspects of being a good contested catcher?
Absolutely, super important. I think it goes back to my baseball days.
Oh, were you a baseball player? Well, I didn't know that. Okay.
I played a little bit of center field, so I had some experience tracking the ball, reading it off the bat. And it's kind of the same thing when the ball's in the air. You kind of get a judge for it, and then I guess over the years just kind of teach your body how to adjust and in an athletic way to go up and get that ball, especially when you're moving that fast.
And then you mentioned breaking routes off at the top, right? It's a lot easier for these 5'10" guys. They're closer to the ground. They got shorter legs that kind of come quickly in and out. For a bigger guy, how do you create that separation at the top of the routes?
Man, you just got to work at it. I feel like ever since I came into college and made that transition from quarterback to wide receiver, I was just working at the technique of route running and especially in and out of breaks, just working on that plant step, and working with the guys around me, the older guys that were able to teach me, and my coaches, they've been a really huge impact in my life. So yeah, just continue to work at the technique.
Now, there's bigger receivers can get pigeonholed, right? As, he's an outside contested catch jump ball type of guy. Is that something that you want to make sure you show NFL scouts this week, that you can separate the way you're talking about?
Absolutely. I want to let them know that I can do it all. You can line me up in the slot. I can run the slot fade. I can run the whip route, the dig. I can get in and out of those breaks. I can run the stop and create that separation, and as well as make those contested catches.
You played a little bit in the slot, not a ton. I looked at your position and your snaps. How do you change your approach in your game when you're in the slot as opposed to being outside?
I think in the slot, it's more about, spacing and speed, because you're usually getting a little off coverage. You got to, read coverages on the fly, whether it's zone, man, middle field, open or closed. But, it's something that I'm always up for the challenge for, and when someone's not always in your face, you got to have a plan of attack. You got to see who's moving around, and it's just about spacing and speed. So
what are your goals, things that you're working on over the next few months as you get ready for the Combine, your pro day, whether it's some of the timed events at the Combine or just receiver skills that you want to show NFL teams at your pro day?
Back to getting in and out of breaks, just making sure those are crisp because in the league, there's a little bit longer routes. Like you got those 18 to 20-yard digs and those 15-yard out routes versus, the 16 and the 10-yard. So definitely working on getting in and out of breaks, and then the 40 as well. I've been working on with Coach Lauren Landau up in South Bend, working on getting my 40 times right, and then all of the the drills that we test for 5-10-5 L drill, just working on that as well.
That 3-cone, right? You want to make sure you put a good 3-cone time up?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I imagine, because a lot of teams look at that when it comes to changing direction, right?
Direction, how you move in space, yes, sir.
Absolutely right. When these teams have talked to you one-on-one, when you do the meetings with the GMs and stuff like that and the scouts, what type of questions are they asking you? What are they trying to learn about you, not just as a player, but as a guy?
Right. They're asking, your home life and, how did you grow up? Did you have family that were supporting you? How was your college experience? Like if you transferred, like how did that conversation go with your coaches? Just everything about you. They ask what you like to do outside of sports, just trying to get a feel for the type of guy that they're investing in.
You asked about, you mentioned transfer. You were at Virginia for 4 years before you went to Notre Dame. How did that help elevate your game, get to Notre Dame, getting a different set of coaches on you and kind of learn a little bit of a different way?
I think that just showed that I was able to, learn a different playbook and be able to go out there and execute at the positions that I was at, for one. And I think it just put me on a bigger stage, Notre Dame playing the best of the country, all around the country. Everybody's tuned in to that bigger stage, and also just getting me out of Charlottesville a little bit because I grew up there and went to school there for those 4 years. So I didn't have that kind of home base with my family being there, and I was just able to grow off the field as well as on the field.
How different is the NFL playbook you're learning this week? And I'm sure it's been a whirlwind trying to figure that thing out in like 72 hours. I don't envy you guys trying to do that versus what you had at Virginia and Notre Dame.
That's a bit different. I think the biggest difference is just the terminology, like what they're calling the different receivers and then what they're calling different routes. So, and as well as the splits, because, there's different hashes, different numbers.
The hashes make a big difference for receivers.
Yeah, so it's a little bit different with split getting lined up and understanding the terminology, but, something that we're constantly working at and wanting to showcase that we can understand it in a short amount of time as we go out here.
Final question, I know you got to run. One number that jumped out at me when you got to Notre Dame, even though maybe the number of catches were down, 17.5 yards per catch. You were a big play wide receiver. You mentioned the contested catch stuff, so maybe it's the same answer, but what's the key to being a big play wide receiver, which I'm sure is a skill you want to bring to whatever NFL team drafts you?
Absolutely. Like you said, the number of catches was a little down. So I think just making the most of every opportunity that you get, like whether it's a hitch route at 5 yards and you're breaking a tackle and make it at a 15-yard gain and a first down, just making the most of every opportunity. Those plays down the field where it could have gone 50-50, making it 70-30 ball. So just making the most of each opportunity.
I appreciate it, man. Good luck at practice, rest of the weekend of the game.
Appreciate you.
Huddle up, get in here. If you're lined up here, you gotta go over the middle with it to score.
Right. How do we make that happen?
I don't know.
But Citizens does.
Make sense of your money with Citizens, official bank of Eli Manning.
Giants Huddle Podcast is brought to you by Citizens, the official bank of the Giants. From game day celebrations to your everyday financial needs, Big Blue fans get the most out of every moment with Citizens. Learn more at citizensbank.com/Giants. Now we welcome in Texas Tech edge rusher, Romello Height. Romello, how are you, man?
I'm great, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. How do you think first day of practice went?
I think it went pretty well. I could work on a few things, but I think it went great. Great first day.
When you got together with your team, your agent, your trainers heading into this event, what were some of the things that you really wanted to make sure you showed NFL teams out there on the field?
That I could set the edge. That was one of the main things I wanted to show the NFL teams, that I could, anchor down and set the edge.
What do you think the key is for an edge defender to set the edge in the run game?
Oh, you got first his start with his initial stride. First, start with his get off. Then it's initial stride. Then it's, being able to sit it down and go 2-1.
I'm sure you don't want to be pigeonholed as just a speed edge rusher. Is that basically what you're trying to do?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's what I'm picturing at right now. It's just like a third down edge rusher, but I just want to showcase that I could be an all down player.
And by the way, I understand why guys might do that, because your burst off the edge and your ability to get upfield is one of maybe the best in the class.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you able to be such an effective edge rusher to kind of challenge that outside shoulder of the offensive tackle and win with your speed so often?
I feel like I'm able to challenge offensive tackles off the shoulder because first, like you said, the get off. I key the ball. Get off is everything. So
without a get off, you ain't gonna get to the Q, bro. Because it could be that one little false step that you take, and boom, the quarterback out of the pocket. So the initial get off is the key to getting to that tackle off his shoulder.
So then please tell me if you think I'm crazy, because I hate player comps, because I think all you guys are unique players. You shouldn't be compared to each other, and I hate doing them.
Yeah.
But one player actually did jump out to me when I watched it. I'm curious what you think about it. Nick Bonito from the Bronx.
Yes, a lot.
Oh, really? A lot of people have said that. I've not heard that. So
I heard it all year.
I swear I'm being original. I did not hear anyone say that. Do you buy that? Do you think that's off base? Do you think that's accurate?
I would take that comparison. Nick Bonito is a relentless guy. He plays great ball. So I'll take that.
And by the way, he's a guy too that when he got drafted, it was like, well, he's a smaller guy, he's a speed rusher, he can't stop throwing, he can't do this. Now you look now, and now look at him now.
Now look at him. He's a game changer. He's a game wrecker, and the team that takes me, that's what I plan on doing, wrecking the game, going to get the quarterback.
So what are your best counters off of your speed? That's the first threat. You want to make sure you try to get that tackle wide, to get him maybe off balance when they try to kick. What are your counters off of your speed?
Off of my speed, I would say my counters is either the top spin or the swipe, depending on how the tackle's set based off of my speed. A lot of tackles try to get out there and jump out there. So I either go with an inside counter swipe, or I go with a stab club. I would say them the two counters that I go to. Them three counters that I go to. Mainly the top spin, based off of what the tackle do when you see me get off the ball.
No, it makes sense. It's one thing to win outside with speed, you get the outside shoulder, but if you can't bend that edge, right, and get back to the quarterback, you're going to get to run around the outside all the time, and that's going to drive coaches nuts, right? If then quarterbacks can scramble, they can run.
Yep.
Do you train that bend? What do you do to train that bend, or is that something that kind of just came naturally to you with your athleticism?
Yeah, I train it off season and postseason. I would be doing the hoop drills 24/7. Usually every workout I've done, I put out the hoop drill and worked it, just toe turn, toe turn, toe turn, toe turn. Because that's the key. You got to get that toe turn. You got to get it pointed towards the quarterback. If it's not, you're just going to be in them hips, like working hips.
Hips and ankles.
But it matters. Like, because without them, you're not going to have the right angles to get to the cue. You're not going to be able to bend. You're not going to be able to turn that toe and get to the cue. So things like that is critical.
I love the little technical details that you guys have to focus on when people just don't see it on the field. I think it's great.
Yes, sir.
When you kind of talk to NFL teams in these meetings, have you had meetings yet with teams?
Not yet.
Not yet.
We got that coming up after the team meeting and stuff.
So what are the things that you want to get across to them when you do meet with them about not just you as a player, but as you as a guy?
That I honestly got I got a great character. I got a great character. And that's something that they've been worried about based off of me, going from school to school, things like that. But man, honestly, man, I had a super rough start. First few years of my college career. So I honestly don't blame them, and I want to be able to, break that down to them, and hopefully they can get me.
Yeah, so you know what? It's funny. I was going to ask that. You brought it up.
Yeah.
You went from Auburn to USC, Georgia Tech to Texas Tech.
Yeah.
When they ask you, why'd you keep switching schools? What are you going to tell them?
I'm going to just break it down to them, man. And lots of up and downs, lots of changing that I had to do, lots of bettering myself that I had to do, better my ways, change my ways on and off the field. So it was a lot going on at Auburn, USC, them the two schools that, had a lot of confidence at. And honestly, I wanted to change and better myself, got back closer to home. And then, NIL played a part. I honestly didn't want to leave Georgia Tech, but,
Check's a check, man.
Yeah, man. So
I get it.
Ended up going to Texas Tech, and, man, complete turnaround, like, totally changed. Like, living in the building, living in the training room. It was just little things like that I needed to get better at. Things off the field, just better myself. That's what I feel like I've done.
I got two follow-ups off of that. One, where do you think, you've mentioned it a few times, where do you think you've grown as a person, as a man? Because you can be a great athlete, but unless you're like really locked in, you're not going to become an NFL.
You could be a great athlete and be immature and that'll play a huge part in your game. Because if you immature off the field, you're going to do some immature things on the field, you know? You're going to go out there and bust plays. You're going to go out there and, you know, bust alignments, do crazy stuff that you shouldn't be doing. And that's what comes with immaturity. So I feel like I matured a lot over the years and just, you know, it helped me take my game to a different level, like just based off of maturing, like, you know, just living maturity comes with living in the training room, living in the building.
Treating it like you're a professional.
Yeah, treating it like you're a professional, you know, bonding with your teammates, just, you know, just living in the building, things like that. I never used to bond with my teammates. I was a guy that used to, you know, stay to myself, I ain't gonna say I just used to stay to myself. I used to have, you know, some homies on the team, but it wasn't like, you know, true bonding and just living in the building together and chopping it up, watching film, things like that. So, man, things like that, like, was key for me.
All right, and this maybe it's the same answer. Why did it all click for you at Texas Tech? You blew up, you had 10 sacks, you had a monster year, you're challenging to be a first-round pick now, right?
Yeah.
So what made it work at Texas Tech for you?
Honestly, before I got to Texas Tech, I set my goals. Like, in my old phone, I put in my notes what I was going to do at Texas Tech, and I manifested it, man. I said I was going to work hard every day, like, while people wasn't looking, while people wasn't watching. I said I was going to do the things that hurt me that I didn't want to do, which is like, you know, getting up at 5 a.m., 6 a.m. and, you know, standing in the training room all day, things like that. Like, it was just the little things that I set out in stone to go get, you know. And the main one was double-digit sacks. And I was able to accomplish that by, you know, working hard and just going to get it.
Did you play in other sports when you were in high school or anything like that?
Yeah, I played basketball and I ran track.
Which one or in what ways did those other sports help you become a better football player?
Oh, okay. I feel like basketball helped me become a better football player because you can literally take it over to the field when doing moves like, you know, the crossover, spins, like it's the same. It's literally the same text in a way, but not really. You know, it's basketball.
Nah, and then how about track?
Track, I kind of.
What did you do? Did you run? Did you jump? What did you do?
I jumped in middle school, but I didn't really do track long. I stopped on that grade year, but I think I still got the high jump record in Dublin Middle School. I think I had the high jump record.
So we should watch you in that when we get to the combine.
Yeah.
Are you gonna jump out of the building a little bit?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna jump out of the building.
Anything else combine wise that you either focus on or you think you're really gonna be good at when you get there? 3-cone? Give it a
3-cone, 4-4. In the 40.
Really?
4-5 under. At least a 4-5 under and 3-cone, the shoulder drills, all that. I think I'm gonna do pretty good in those drills.
Who was the toughest offensive tackle you went up against in your college career?
Ooh, that's tough. Well, I played some good tackles. It's probably Joe Out.
You can give me more than one if you want.
Joe Out and Spencer Farnham.
Spencer Farnham, huh?
Yeah, he's a good player. That's a good player right there, man. Super technical. Like, great hands, great eyes, great feet, immaculate feet. Like, man, that's a great ball player, and I really look forward to going against him again. You know, getting a rematch.
Yeah, you might be a top 10 pick. We'll see.
Yeah.
Hey, Romello, it was great getting to know you, man. Best of luck this week. Thank you very much.
Yes, I appreciate you, man.
All right, now we're going to talk some special teams. Very excited about this. We're going to welcome in Georgia punter Brett Thorson. Brett, how are you, man?
Good, thank you.
How's your week gone so far, kicking the ball?
Yeah, right. It's been good. Definitely getting in the pro-style system for the first time has been a good experience and a good learning curve to kind of kickstart this draft process.
Yes, because it is very different, right? You know, college, you're holding the ball, you can run left or right. You're picking NFL, you're not doing that because the rules are different with the rushers and stuff, right? So what has that adjustment been like for you, kind of trying to adjust your game a little bit?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing I'm noticing right now is like the kind of the hashes coming in and then increasing the field zone kind of emphasis. In college. We were going kind of right of the hash. So we had a pretty wide field zone to aim at. So you're kind of playing like the angles that helped you, as opposed to college, you're trying to go outside the numbers and the hashes come in. So there's two added angles that we're trying to get familiar with right now in that system. And then obviously everything shrinks down in that protection. It's much more condensed. There's not as much spreading out. You don't have as much coverage. So that emphasis on hang time and location is getting worked on.
Do you consider yourself more of a power distance kicker or more of a directional guy?
I think, yeah, probably a bit more power hang time would be what I'd be known for. I would like to have good location, but it's definitely something to work on going to the next level because it is upgrading from that hash landmark to the numbers landmark.
What are some of the things you do from a technique perspective to improve in terms of being a directional guy, really putting the ball where you want, especially when you're trying to get the ball inside the 10, inside the 5 even, coffin corner, all that sort of stuff, just trying to pin guys deep in the zone?
Yeah, it's pretty much like the angles, just drilling in the angles early. Punting, you like stay as straight as possible and go to your pass. So working on getting that, like for me going left, like getting that left foot out early and to the target rather than kind of having a lazy run. And then all of a sudden you're not going down that true line and then everything starts swinging and like you may be walking this way, trying to punt this way, and it becomes a bit chaos sometimes. So pretty much just working on that and really drilling in the straight lines and working on the new angles.
So we had Brad Wing with the Giants, right? He was an Aussie kicker, right?
Yeah.
And he was able to really manipulate the ball and put different spins on it. And one kick he called the boomerang because it kind of went sideways and it was, the wind took in. It was hard for guys to judge it. It caused some muff punts, things like that. What are some of the things you could do to manipulate the ball, to change the spin, change the angles, to make it tough on guys trying to catch the ball as returners?
I think that just using the Aussie rules background, obviously in Australian rules, you've got so many different angles that you're running around, so many different places you got to get the ball and then scoring as well. So bringing that Aussie rules background like Brad did and hopefully being able to put that into play in some game plans when they're suited for that sort of field position. And then also just like continue to work on your game, knowing what hang times are needed in what parts of the field. That's probably something I think. And when you're going in like that, knowing where you're landing the ball and what the spin chances are of like the bounce, even with the spiral, like, are you going to get a kick left when you're going right? Hopefully you get a kick right, stuff like that. Can you get a bit lower and get a kick forward if you're trying to go kind of over the returner's head? So stuff like that is definitely on things to account for.
What's the adjustment just in terms of going from Aussie to NFL, just the ball and the shape of the ball and kicking it and, creating that spin in the angle given the different shape of the ball? Because, as you know, a centimeter, an inch here or there can really make all the difference.
Yeah, the Aussie rules ball is a bit more fat, kind of a bit more rounded at the end. The leather's a bit more like slick and shiny. So kind of with the Aussie rules bowl, it's a lot easier to kind of get the ball to the target, like maybe not perfect. So you can still miss kick it a little, might spin a little funny. You can kick it. It's easy to kick on all those angles. As for going to the NFL ball, because it's so much skinnier at the ends and a bit more pointy, it's a lot harder to like kind of have that. If you miss kick, you miss kick.
Yeah.
Like it can be a bad hit. So you got to be as pretty much as perfect as possible with that thing. And that's where the best results come, is when you hit the sweet spot.
I got 2 more questions for you. What's the worst weather you ever had to punt in? And what's the challenge when you're going in bad weather as a punter? Because you're probably not familiar with it, but the Meadowlands can get windy. It can get cold. It can whip around. You don't know where the wind's coming from. So what's the worst weather experience you've had as a punter, and how did you try to kind of fight through it? And what's key to surviving those types of games?
Yeah, thankfully, obviously, Georgia's a bit different.
Yeah, a little bit.
But no, we get the cold games. I'd say the Georgia Tech game last year, I think, it was just a night game. So you know how when you get in the night game, it was a Friday night game, and it was just like we played until about 12 o'clock at night. So I guess you could imagine what late, almost early December felt like.
Yeah.
At 11 o'clock at night. So that was probably it. And just trying to stay warm when it's that late and that cold. So I think I talked to actually like the Chicago Bears punter and stuff like that to be like, what's your method in games like this? And kind of reached out to those boys and kind of just got through to stay warm. So taking help off people who have played in it. And then obviously you got to take a lot into account. The balls are a little bit different to catch in the cold weather. Obviously, you don't have the expectation of warm weather where they're kind of inflated a bit more. You got to just know your role and really just stick to the strengths and be as technically perfect as possible.
Feels like you're kicking a rock some of the time.
Exactly, yeah. You want to make sure you got a couple pairs of socks on.
Final question. Who's the most dangerous return man that you had to worry about punting to and making sure you help control them with the location and hang time?
Yeah, back in the Natty, he returns for the Chargers, Davis. We had to kick to him that year in the Natty, so we were pretty much going cross field And like we were acting like we're going right and we're kicking it to the other side of the field just to make sure he wasn't getting it.
Sometimes just kicking it out of bounds is the best thing you can do.
Yeah, that's
Right. This was a pleasure, man. It was
Thank you.
No, yeah, good luck this week.
Cheers.
Thank you very much. All right, now we welcome in from Stephen F. Austin, the lumberjack.
Yes, sir.
Rep D, Charles Demmings. What's going on?
sir.
How are you?
Man, I'm blessed with every breath. I got no complaints over here, man. How about you?
I'm doing great, man. So how has it gone the first couple of days of practice for you?
Man, day one, I really laid the foundation of, who I am and what I can do. Day two, that was a day of execution. It wasn't a stunt or it wasn't a fake. Now with day three, and today is our last day of practice, This is when I put it all together. This is when I show those 2 days weren't just a good 2 days. It wasn't a mountain high, valley low type of day. I'm a guy who's on a transcendent path, and I'm a guy who's on a mission, not only to be better on the field, but to be better around that hotel, and to express God's glory in every way I can. Because who we are off the field is a direct translation of who we are on the field. And if we make those relationships and we commit to each other, playing on the field, that feels way easier, man. Feels like we all got the same helmets out there. So I'm literally ready to go out there, man, and lay it all on the line for guys I just met because I have created a bond, and the love I share is no different than the love I share with my family. These guys are my family right now, man. And it's the people that God gave me. So I'm okay with it being the last thing I ever do in life if I never get to leave here.
Dude, that is fantastic. I love it. So what are the things that you trying to want to show NFL teams, whether when you meet with them in the meetings, so they learn about you as a guy, but also on the field, what you want to maybe prove to them what you can do as a player?
That I am elite of elite, and I can play with the highest of the highest, man. There's no difference. I may have went to an FCS school, but put me in front of any receiver, put me in front of any professional receiver, that I'm going to stand my ground and hold my own, man. There is nothing that I can't do. I don't believe in the word can't. I rarely use the word believe because when you believe, you leave room for doubt. So I'm here to show that NFL owners, GMs, take the helmets, take the jerseys, and just leave them blank and then tell me the difference you see in all the guys out there and me.
I love it. I know you've been meaning to get to one more before we go. You come from FCS school. You talked about that. I did play-by-play and sideline reporting for the Northeast Conference, also FCS in the Northeast.
Okay.
I know how talented guys from those schools can be. So many of the guys, they'll go and they transfer up, right? They go to like some, you don't get many guys from FCSs at these games anymore. What was it about the program you wanted to stay there, and what does it mean to you kind of wear that, lumberjack badge and the small school badge and kind of representing that, not just that your program, but that level of play?
Man, I bleed purple, and it's not, we don't got the best resources. We don't got the best locker room. Got the best people in it, though. We got guys that commit to each other. We got guys that will serve each other. And, I'm no different than the other guys at that level. Me being here is a reflection of what any FCS guy can do when they get the shot and opportunity to come up here and play with the other guys. There is no difference between the skill level. Maybe the trenches and the size, but the skill level, man, we're all the same. Some of us even better. And being here, that I bleed purple, man. And I'm real excited to represent SFA in every way because that is the school that developed me from a boy to a man, gave me a bridge to God, and gave me a bridge to being able to love everything and every moment I do like it was my last moment. And I wouldn't have got that, anywhere else with all this NIL coming. And maybe I would have, but God placed me at SFA. And so that's why I wanted to stay true and leave a legacy at, because those people developed me the right way, not to make it to the league, but to stick.
Chuck D, good luck the rest of the way. Good luck the rest of the draft process. Very nice getting to meet you, man.
Nice getting to meet you
Thank
too,
you very
man.
much. Appreciate it.
Being the gift you are, man.
I appreciate you as well. All right, and now we welcome in cornerback for the Arkansas Razorbacks, Julian Neal. Julian, how are you, man?
Good. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. How do you think the week's gone so far?
I think it's going good, man. I think I could improve in a lot of ways, but I think it's going good.
All right, you're a bigger corner. You measured at 6'1.5", 202 pounds. How do you think you utilize your size to be an effective cover corner?
Definitely, I utilize my size at the line, in man coverage, and in zone where I could come off a guy and hit some of the bigger guys coming in under the linebackers or in trail.
Are you a two-hand jam guy or a one-hand jam guy?
I switch it up at times. Two-hand jam when I when I really don't want him to get off the line, the one-hand jam when I'm just trying to see what he's going to do.
Now, you were at Fresno for 3 years before you went to Arkansas. Why'd you decide to make that switch?
I felt like I needed a bigger challenge for me to get a better shot at the NFL. I just feel like, the ultimate goal was the NFL, and I just needed no excuses for people to say what I was doing during the season.
So once you got there to Arkansas, obviously jumping competition, right? How were you able to develop your game at Arkansas and kind of build upon the foundation that you had already built at Fresno?
Definitely just found myself as a player, being having the coaches since day one believe in me and throw me out there, and that definitely helped me be able to hone my skills in and be more comfortable on the field with throwing my hands and just knowing that I'm that guy.
Whenever you come to an event like this, I know you guys, you kind of get with your trainers, you get with your team, you talk about the things that you want to try to show NFL scouts who are on the field, right? What was your plan? What were some of your goals this week at the Senior Bowl that you wanted to prove to NFL evaluators?
Showing that I'm physical, so that I could show up in the run game, showing that, during the screen drills, no receiver could block me. And during the punt return drills, that even if I'm getting viced, that's a two-man press at the line for punt return, that they can't block me either, and I can go make a play on special teams as well.
Do you feel like you've met a lot of those goals so far in the first couple of days?
Yes, sir.
Talk about what you've done on special teams. Obviously, young player, you get into the league, that's one of the first things you're going to be asked to do. So where have you done special teams in college in terms of your experience there?
I've done punt return and I've done kickoff.
What do you think makes you a good special teams player? What's important for a player to be good at special teams?
Being able just to execute your job, because all 11 players or all 10 players have to get the person with the ball to the end zone.
You like playing man, you like playing zone, you like playing off press. What if I told you it's a key third down, you have to cover a guy, how do you want to be aligned and how do you want to play him?
Definitely want to play man. I definitely want to play man, outside leverage, don't remove the any outside releases, and make it hard for the QB to get the ball to the first down.
When you've met with these teams, these personnel evaluators, what are some of the things that they've really been asking you about to learn about you, not just as a player, but also as a guy, what you're going to bring to a locker room, what kind of teammates you are, things like that?
When I ask, first of all, if I'm a leader, and I tell them I am, but I'm not the type of dude to go around and yelling at everybody. I feel like I'm the type of dude where you look at me or you look at Julian Neal and he's going to be doing his job, and that makes you want to do your job. Or it doesn't matter how many points we're down, or it doesn't matter how hard practice is going. You're going to see me go hit the running back full speed, or go hit the receiver at the line of scrimmage at full speed, and it's going to make you want to do the same thing.
Who was the toughest wide receiver you had to cover this year in the SEC?
I'll say Casey Concepcion and Brandon Thompson.
What made Concepcion tough to cover?
He was real shaky at the line. He had some real routes for me, and that preparation that week just for him, it took a lot out of me. And Brandon Thompson was one of those guys because, he was just very fast. I think he's one of the fastest guys in the draft right now.
All right, you got a ton of Razorbacks here. I want to ask you about some of your teammates. First, I've been really enjoyed watching your quarterback, Taylor Green, this week. He's a freak athlete, first of all. He's super tall. When he runs, he's run. The ball comes out of his hand really well. You obviously practice against him a ton. What is about Taylor that makes him tough?
Taylor, he's a freak of nature. He was definitely one of the leading captains on our team this year. I feel like what makes him tough is just his mentality. Now he comes into every practice and every game. You could just see it. I could see it in his face before each game that he just knows that he's that guy and he's going to go out there and dominate, and he needs us behind him.
I really enjoyed watching your running back, Mike Washington Jr. this week. He's rocked up. He's almost 230 pounds, but he doesn't look like that when he runs. He's very smooth, and you're shaking your head. What is about him that makes him what I think is a very underrated running back in this class?
Like I've been telling everybody since the first day I got to Arkansas and seeing him just run people over, it was crazy. He's as well as a freak of nature. He's gonna run super hard. He's gonna cut super lightly, and his speed is. I feel like his speed is very underrated, and his power is very underrated. I feel like scouts and teams are gonna see that here often, and soon, during the combine, they're gonna see how fluid he is in the drills, and I think he's gonna make his way up the draft.
I want to ask you a couple of the defensive players that you play with on your side of the ball. We had him a couple of days ago here. Really nice kid, Cameron Ball, the big man in the middle. What makes him special as a defensive tackle?
Cameron Ball could go disrupt, run the run. He can go disrupt the run game. He's one of our big leaders on the field. You know, he's been in Arkansas for a long time. I feel like he played a very big role in our defense this year, and just him being very physical changes the game for a lot of us.
How about your linebacker, Xavier Sori?
I mean, Xavier Sori, he's going to go in there. He's going to hit every time. He's going to be relentless. He's not scared of anything. You know, he's one of those dudes where you see him and it makes you want to just go harder.
I think I got everybody. I didn't miss anyone, right? From Arkansas that's here?
Fernando Carmona.
Tell me about him.
Offensive line. I mean, he's a very great guy. Came from San Jose State, you know, the Mountain West, just like me. I feel like that dude is, he's a true 6'4", 320. I mean, that dude, he's a big guy. So I feel like teams are going to be very happy with him, being able to use him.
What are your goals now as this event wraps up? You're playing the game, obviously. Then you start getting ready for Combine, start getting ready for Pro Day. What are some of the things that you're really going to be locking in and focusing on to improve for scouts to show them when you kind of finish off this draft process?
Definitely my long shot and speed, 40-yard dash, and definitely those DB drills. I want to show them how fluid I am in those DB drills and how fluid my hips are, and how fast I can get out breaks and how explosive I am. And I'm really focused on the broad jump because that's going to show scouts like truly how explosive I am.
Anything from a specific technique-wise from playing corner that you want to kind of hone in on for your Pro Day?
Definitely just flipping my hips and being able to get my back pedal, and being able to get out my back pedal as soon as possible.
All right, good to meet you, man. Good luck the rest of the week. Thank you so much for dropping by.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, and now we are joined by University of Iowa cornerback TJ Hall. TJ, how's it going, man? How are you?
Man, it's going good. How are you doing?
So we've been through 2 practices. How do you think it's gone so far this week at the Senior Bowl?
I think it's been going pretty good. Coach has been having me try a new position at the nickel spot, and I've been really showing just my versatility, and I've been liking it. It's been going really well.
Yeah, because I was looking at where you had played in your career, and you were primarily an outside guy. So how has it been trying to adjust to playing the slot here this week?
Yeah, it's definitely been a little different, but I've been making sure I get some extra work with the coaches, whether it's in the meeting room or pre-practice, just making sure I know what to do.
How much had you done that in practice at all, or is this really kind of like first time deep end of the pool, let's roll?
Yeah, I would say I maybe did it like a little bit, but this probably been the most I've ever done it.
What's been the biggest challenge?
Really just figuring out like the zone dropping, because you know at corner you have nobody else outside of you, but at the nickel, you know, you got a different zone drop and you got somebody outside of you, or you got a different zone that you got to drop into.
And then I got to imagine when you're playing man, right? I mean, I talk to guys at the Giants have to make this switch a lot. When you're playing outside, you have the sideline, right? And you're going to use that as an extra defender. All right, well, I know they can't break too far out the sidelines there.
Right.
But they have the two-way go and a lot of space in the slot. So how do you kind of manage that part of it, knowing these guys have a two-way go and potentially a lot of space on both sides?
Yeah, really just playing my leverage. You know, we got a lot of one high, so just trusting my post help. And, you know, if they break inside, you know, I got a chance to undercut it or slip it maybe, and knowing I got underneath and over the top help in the middle. And really, you know, if they break my leverage outside, just getting chest to chest with them.
I talked to one of your teammates yesterday, Jennings Dunker in Iowa, obviously a really big history of developing offensive linemen. He's a character, by the way. He's hilarious. I love him. But recently, you guys have been developing defensive backs.
Yes, sir.
You got, you know, Cooper DeJean in Philadelphia. You got Riley Moss in Denver.
Yep.
You guys have put out a nice group of DBs. What is it about how Iowa coaches you guys up that's allowed you to make such a good transition from college to the pros?
Yeah, our D coordinator and / DB coach, you know, he does a great job of getting us ready. He prepares us. He tells us, you know, you want to make sure you learn and know how to play all 5 positions in the back end. And really just the way he coaches us, you know, he expects a lot of it out of us, but it's only because he knows how great we can be.
And I really feel like you guys are very disciplined in your zone coverages. Everyone knows their responsibility. To your point, they know their leverage, and you know exactly where you're supposed to be.
Yeah, really, it's just about doing your job. You know, Coach talks about, like, you know, just being patient and doing your job. And as long as you're doing your job, the ball is going to come your way and you're going to make a play.
Who's the best wide receiver you've had to face, either in your college career or you can focus on this year? Who's the best wide receiver you've played?
Yeah, I would definitely say Malachi Lemon. Going against him back at USC, he's just a smooth route runner, got great hands, sells his routes really well.
How about Jeremiah Smith? Have you got him against him yet or no?
I haven't had a chance to go up against him, but if I did, he would definitely be up there.
Absolutely. All right. When you have a chance to sit in front of NFL coaches, scouts, you have your meetings with them and everything like that. What are some of the things they're peppering you with and they're asking you about to try to learn more about you as a player?
Yeah, really just starting like with your family upbringing, just seeing who you grew up with, who you've been around, and then a little bit of ball questions. Like I know the Saints, they had me get on the whiteboard and they drew up their defense, erased it. I had to draw up my defense, erase it, and then draw up their defense again. So
how'd it go with that? Went okay?
I did pretty good. I was able to draw everything up again, so I did really well.
That's awesome. What are you trying to prove to coaches when you get there on the field this week? Usually when guys come to the events, they get with their agents, their trainers are like, well, I know NFL teams might have questions about 1, 2, and 3. I want to show them that. What was kind of on your list for things that you wanted to prove this week?
Man, really everything. Just my versatility with that, showing like I can play the nickel, and then just showing my man coverage, and really also my ball skills that I can also get interceptions too.
What do you think the best part of your game is right now?
Man, I'd just say my knowledge of the game. I feel like I'm a very smart player. I can recognize formations or splits of receivers and just kind of know what they're going to do before they do it.
And what are some of the things as you now work towards the combine, your pro day, things that you're still trying to work on and fine tune as you try to complete this draft process?
Yeah, just really training, speed-wise, definitely, so I can run fast at the combine, pro day, and then really just honing in on a bunch of techniques and everything.
Who's been the toughest wide receiver you had to face here so far?
I'll say both the Texas Tech receivers are really good. I think those are some guys. They're tall, but they also got shifty moves.
Yeah, number 5, Douglas, man. I would watch at 6'3". He could get in and out of his breaks pretty good for a tall guy, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed by him, too. Who else from your DB group have you really had fun interacting with and just, competing alongside and playing with so far?
Yeah, man, really all of them. We got a great group of guys, especially on the national team. We all chop it up. We're in the meeting room getting extra film in and getting extra work in pre-practice. So, man, really every single guy on our team is cool to interact with. They're all funny, and, we're all here to get better.
Any NFL corners that you kind of look up to and you kind of try to model your game off of?
Yeah, I like to watch Derek Stingley, Patrick Surtain, Jair Alexander, Jalen Ramsey. Who else? Christian Gonzalez, I really like him.
Yeah, and I think that's a great list. Any other sports you played in high school or anything like that besides football, or are you only a football guy?
Yeah, I played basketball and baseball.
How did you think those two sports help you become a better football player?
Man, it helped me a lot. Playing baseball, I was an outfielder, so
tracking balls,
tracking the ball in the air, and then just basketball, just agility, moving quickly.
Awesome, man. Hey, dude, it was great to meet you. Good luck the rest of the week, and thank you very much.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate you.
If you want to know how to manage 2 minutes of crunch time football, I'm your man. But if you're wondering about a long-term financial plan, you should talk to Citizens. Hey, I can also talk lawn care.
I'd like to learn about a mowing routine.
Yes, I knew I could help. Make sense of your money with Citizens.
All right, and now we welcome in one of the most exciting wide receivers at the game this year. I really enjoyed watching him this week. Wide receiver from Texas Tech, Caleb Douglas. Caleb, how are you, man?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. So what were your goals heading into this game that you wanted to kind of show NFL decision makers and kind of put your best foot forward to show some of the things that maybe you could do on the field?
Really, first and foremost, really just effort for real. Always giving 110%, going out there and being consistent, and then really just going out there and show people I can move like a small dude, not just a 6'3".
Well, you led me to my next question, being is I looked at your size and weight when you got here. I didn't have a chance to watch it before I got here. And I'm like 6'3", and when you hear a receiver 6'3", you get a mental picture of what they are, right? Then I saw you out there, and you're breaking off routes, you're changing directions.
Yeah.
On top of that, you're creating separation. What is it about the way you play that allows you to have such quick feet and change the direction, even though you're a longer wide receiver?
Really just repetition and confidence for real. Going out there knowing that I can do that. Just give me a route, go out there and just do what I do. Mm-hmm.
When you meet with these NFL teams, what were some of the questions you've been getting? Are there common questions from team to team? Is it all different, or is there some specific aspect about you or your game that you feel like they're trying to get a hold on?
Kind of really reiterating what you just said. For real, why? What else brings to your game besides the jump ball and everything else? And I kind of getting the same answer, showing people that I can move like a smaller dude as well.
When they ask you what you think the strongest part of your game is, what do you tell them?
I always lead off with blocking. I know that I can block my ass off, so go out there and block.
I love the fact that a wide receiver list blocking is what they're best at. Why is that so important to you?
Cause like no block, no rock. So if you don't block, you don't get the rock.
I think NFL teams would love to hear that. All right, so that we'll take blocking. Let's take either get open, get more traditional wide receivers. What do you think the strength? Like what's your bread and butter that you kind of then have all your counters off of?
My limp. I can go out there and make catches. Go out there and make the big ball catches, and really just always like walling the defenders off and stuff like that.
What makes a good contested catcher?
What makes it?
Yeah.
I say confidence for real. Knowing that you can go up there and just attack the ball at the highest point and going up there and getting it.
How much of that is body control, which I think is kind of, I'm not sure you can train that. I feel like that's kind of natural thing that you have is, look, you're running so fast, but sometimes you got to gear down very quickly, jump. Your body can't twist and turn. You have to control yourself. How did you kind of develop that part of your game to become a good contested catch player?
Really just being a natural athlete, playing multiple sports. So always just like using everything that I've always did in other sports and just putting it together.
What other sports did you play?
I played baseball. That was my first love, baseball first, and then basketball. Ran track my senior year of high school, so yeah.
What did you play in baseball position?
I was a pitcher.
Pitcher, okay.
Yes, sir. When I was a pitcher, I was probably the third base or in the outfield somewhere.
How about when you played the outfield, did your ball tracking, you think,
yeah.
carry over a little bit?
I feel like that for surely plays a part. You got that small white ball in the air. So you're going out there just tracking it with the glove, so yeah.
So you're a pitcher. Did you try to play quarterback?
Yeah, I played quarterback in high school. I started playing receiver my junior year. I played quarterback all my life. And then COVID came and one of our receivers got sick. And then they was like, hey, you second string right now. Do you want to go play receiver? I was like, I'll go out there and catch the ball. Like, I feel like I got great hands. And ever since then, I can just be playing receiver.
How did playing quarterback help you become a better receiver?
Really just knowing like the ins and outs what the quarterback's looking for, knowing my timing, knowing that everything don't have to be rushed. You might feel like it while you're out there, but it doesn't have to be rushed. You have time. And then knowing like his progression, knowing where he's going, what he's looking for, looking at the shells, stuff like that. So
you mentioned track and basketball. How did those help, you think, contribute to you becoming a better football player?
Basketball, like you're saying, with the body control, just, in basketball, you're running so fast, ball in your hands, defender in front of you. So really just going up there and like knowing how to jump, knowing how to win the break, knowing like in certain speeds, how fast you're going, you got to know how to stop and stop on a dime. So yeah.
I imagine that probably helps you change your direction too. That's probably one of the reasons why you're so good at the top of the route. At 6'3", I'm assuming you're a shooting guard, right? Is that what you played about?
In high school, I kind of was like the 4.
Oh, you were the 4 or the 5?
Yeah, and then when I got to my senior year, my junior year, then I became like
the wing.
You went away a little way, yeah.
That's a change of direction, right? You're trying to bring you guys down off the dribble. That's moving left and right, and that's got to translate, right?
Yeah, most definitely.
What did you do track-wise? Did you run? Did you jump? What'd you do?
I never jumped, really, because like my senior year, I really was just trying to get in shape for college. So I went out there, I did the 400, the 4x4,
okay,
4x2, and 4x1.
So I'm knowing your track background, you ran a 4x1. I imagine you probably feel pretty good about what your 40-yard dash time is going to be.
Oh, yeah, I feel great about it.
How are you at the start? Because I know that's a big part of it.
That's the biggest part, especially since I'm a taller guy.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I fly a lot of, I started building, I'm a big guy that builds up speed, but also I do have acceleration. But I know that at the end of the day, I got to get that start down for the 40. It ain't a 100-yard dash.
Exactly right. What are some of the aspects of your game, like the technical stuff of playing wide receiver that you're still trying to fine tune and get better at as you get towards your pro day and, these scouts kind of try to get a little closer eye on you?
Really just continue to be efficient for real, going out there and just being smooth in all my cuts and ins and outs. So, yeah.
Any receivers that you think that are in the league that kind of mimic or reflect your playing style?
I like KJ Osborne. I feel like he's a good one, bigger guy that can move. And then that was paired up with him once upon a time with Justin Jefferson. I like how he's not a taller guy, but he has a longer build.
He does, yeah. Long legs.
Yeah, so he's kind of like, I feel like he kind of looks like me sometimes, very smooth in his route, so yeah.
What was it about your program this year at Texas Tech that allowed you guys to have the success that you did?
Really just going out there and just throwing around the field for real, giving everybody a lot of opportunities, no matter where you're at. And you had a lot of stars on our team. Just make sure everybody had opportunities for real.
Well, I want to ask you about one of those stars on your team, your fellow wide receivers here with you, Reggie Virgil. Give me a little scouting report on him.
Really just I just say, like, pick your poison. You want to go over there and guard him or come over here and guard me because you finna get the work regardless.
How are you and his games a little bit different, maybe, in terms of the way you play the position?
You could say I probably I wouldn't just say it like that, but you could probably say I'm probably like a little more aggressive as in like the blocking aspect, stuff like that. But other than that, though, I feel like we kind of, like I say, pick your poison, really just wherever you want to go feel like you're dealing with today.
No, I love it. Who's been the toughest corner that you've had to go against this past year in college?
Toughest corner.
I like the guy from BYU, Zero.
Okay.
Yeah, I forgot his last name, but he was straight.
All right. And how about so far at the event this week? Who are some of the tough corners you're going to go up against?
I like Colton Hood. Colton Hood, I feel like is a good corner, very patient, confident in his game. So yeah.
Awesome. Dude, it's been fun watching this week. Yes, good luck the rest of the way. And good luck. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now we're joined by Wisconsin wide receiver, Vinny Anthony. Vinny, what's going on, man? How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
We're doing great. How do you think your week's gone so far? We're 2 practices in.
It's definitely gone good. It's each day getting a little bit better, getting back in the flow of playing football and stuff like that, but it's definitely been fun.
How long did it take for you to kind of get the rust off, or is the rust still peeled off maybe a little bit?
It's definitely off now. It really just took about half of the first day. You feel me? It's been I hadn't played again since November, you know what I'm saying? It's just been combine training and then obviously doing drills and stuff, but getting back on the field, it definitely felt good.
What have been your goals this week when you met with your team heading into the week of things that you definitely wanted to show scouts and coaches when you're out there on the field competing?
Big thing, I wanted to show that I was confident in learning the playbook pretty fast. You know, it's a new playbook that they put together in like a couple days. Coaches got picked not too long ago, and then they shot out the playbook. But I wanted to show that I could pick up a playbook fast. And another thing, that's just the mental side, but physical side, just to show that I'm a fast and a athletic, just natural receiver. You know what I'm saying? Like I can create separation and just win.
Are you happy with how it's gone so far in terms of meeting some of those goals?
So I'm definitely happy with it. It's not over yet, obviously. We still own my practice and the game, so I still got more to showcase. But I am pleased with how it's gone so far.
When you meet with GMs and scouts and everything, what are some of the questions you've been getting asked as you kind of get introduced to these guys and you're meeting them in person for the first time?
Most of the time, you get the basics like where are you from, how are you raised, stuff like that, and then it elevates to some scouts have different like styles. Some of them go straight into like I say, a high school life. How'd you get drafted? Or I'm not drafted, but how'd you get recruited? Yeah, I said drafted. I'm tripping.
Subby. It really isn't that much different, to be honest with you.
How'd you get recruited? And then favorite DB to go against was a common one. Another common one was like, what do you feel like you can always work on? What do you feel like are your strengths? Then some of them had me on the board and stuff like that. Okay. Like, okay, what's a good play versus this coverage, or what's your favorite play to go to versus this coverage? Stuff like that. I feel like those are the most common ones. Also, I got a lot of who would you bring along with you? Like if you had to pick one player from like your team, like in this draft class.
That one, that's good.
Who would you want to bring along with you and stuff like that? So it was definitely interesting.
Well, you're going to be prepared because I'm going to ask you some of those same questions.
Okay.
Well, what do you think your greatest strength is as a wide receiver right now? What's your bread and butter? What are you best at?
I think, like I said, I'm a fast guy. I feel like I'm very elusive. I feel like I'm a natural hands catcher. I may have a drop or two. Like nobody's perfect, but in general, I feel like I am a natural hands catcher. I feel like I do good with my hands in releases, like knocking hands down, stuff like that. I also think I'm very good at getting vertical when I do get the ball. I think that's something that just came natural to me even since I was like younger, like just catching the ball and then getting vertical immediately. I think that that's something that I've always been told I'm good at. And I think that it plays into my strengths, you know what I'm saying? I catch the ball, get vertical real fast. I think that it's important in the league because every yard is critical. I think that's super important.
What are some of the things you're still trying to work on your game and trying to improve as you get to the pro day and maybe even some of the stuff at the combine you want to kind of make sure you get your numbers where they want to be?
Okay, so I guess receiver wise,
yes, that's right.
Receiver wise, I feel like I can always detail like every route in the route tree. Been in 3 different offenses now, and I've always been like the fast guy, the deep threat kind of person. So I feel like expanding on just tightening up all the intermediate routes and stuff like that, just to showcase that I can run those also. And I feel like I can always work on releases also, just the release package and stuff like that.
Is there a receiver that you look up to that you try to model your game off of at all?
Yeah, I like Jettis. I feel like that's a common one. He's a really elusive guy. I also like Puka too. I feel like he does a good job of creating movement. Definitely in his releases, and
Such a physical player too.
oh yeah,
Ooh.
it's real sneaky. You know what I'm saying? It catches you off guard, and I think that he's real good at that. I feel like yeah.
All right. Final question. Who were the toughest corners that you had to go up against in the Big Ten over your Wisconsin career?
Mm-hmm. One that I initially said definitely in the interviews, and I give him props to. I told him here, TJ Hall from Iowa. I feel like he's a good corner.
I talked to him this morning. Great kid. Yeah.
Yeah, great kid. Or great guy now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
But no, I feel like he was very patient. He's a lengthier guy too, and he is also sneaky fast. You know what I'm saying? It's sometimes taller guys aren't as quick or not as patient. And I thought he is a good balance of both. You know what I'm saying? And another corner I give props to is Ohio State's cornerback. I don't want to say his name wrong. Abe
Wilson. Yes, you got it.
Yeah. He was another good lengthier corner also.
He's had a good week this week. Yeah.
Yeah, he's been doing a good job too. Yeah.
All right, dude. Good luck the rest of the way. It was nice meeting you. Good luck. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, Vinny.
Appreciate it.
And now we welcome in a member of the John Carroll Blue Street.
Yes, sir.
Division 3.
Yes, sir.
You might think, is he a coach? Is he a GM? That's what you should think of.
Yeah.
Carroll. Don't think of players, but
Yeah.
he's making a name for himself at the Senior Bowl this week. Tyren Montgomery. Tyren, how are you, man?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
So what has this been like? You were at the American Bowl, correct? And
Sure.
you got the late call to come up here.
Yeah.
What was that like getting that call, and what was the excitement level that, damn, I'm going to get to go to the best all-star game
Yeah.
and play against some of the best guys in the country?
Yeah, so I'm a big journal guy. So I like to, manifest power of the tongue, carve belief. So, it was already in my journal, and I just knew I had to go out there and go to the American Bowl, do my thing, and hopefully get the call up. And so far, it's been working out in my favor.
I think it was your first one-on-one rep. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think you went up against Colton Hood from Tennessee, the left sideline.
Yeah.
And you run him down the field. You make him think you're running a 9 to go. You break it off.
Yeah.
You get like 6 yards of separation.
Yeah.
That first rep in one-on-one, how much did that just kind of lift and build your confidence that, all right, this guy's supposed to be a first-round pick.
Yeah.
Damn, I can do this.
Yeah. So, shout out to Colton Hood. Obviously, I didn't know. So a lot of these guys, no disrespect, I didn't know who they were. So I didn't.
Of course not.
Yeah. I'm in the Division 3 world, so I don't really know, who the top guys are. So once practice finished and I looked on Twitter and I saw what he was projected at, I was like, oh, okay. I was pretty excited then. I was like, okay, yeah. So, I just kind of embraced it, and I knew I didn't want the coaches and players to think this was luck. And I knew I had to come out there the next day and just be consistent, just keep stacking days and just show them, this is the type of player I am.
And then you beat Chris Johnson deep, who, by the way, is another one of the best cornerbacks here. I love this tape coming, and he's had a good week too.
Yeah.
I've seen you beat people with your quickness. You had a great release on a slant and a yak play.
Yeah.
You've caught contested balls. You're on at the top of the route. So what do you consider your strength? Because I've seen you do a little bit of everything. What to you is your bread and butter as a wide receiver that you start with, that you're the best at, and then you kind of work everything off of it?
Yeah, so I think releases, I got a few. So I want to start releases. I think just implying the basketball court onto the football field.
Were you a basketball player?
Yeah, as a basketball player. All growing up, all throughout high school, I played basketball. I didn't touch.
You almost went to LSU, right?
Yeah. So I didn't touch a lick of football until I was a junior in college. So I think when it came to releases, I knew I could beat majority of my defenders, really all my defenders, because I'm just using a crossover. And I watched Devontae Adams and Keenan Allen, and I used to watch they mic'd up stuff off of YouTube and just pick their brains and just imply stuff into my game and put my own flavor into it. So I want to say my releases is one. Route running is two, because this is like stopping on a dime in basketball, So I think that was just easy for me. And then my vertical. I mean, as some people have seen, I got a little bit of bouncy.
You can bounce it.
Yeah. So I feel like that's one of the favorite things in my game, just because I know people can't jump with me. So yeah, I do like that.
So why don't you tell people your story that don't know it? How did you get from basketball to finding ball?
All right, so in high school, I played all basketball, no football. I ended up having the opportunity to go walk on to LSU for basketball.
the first semester my mother got sick. She had,
Yeah.
she had bladder cancer, so I had to come back home. I came home. It was around the COVID era, so around COVID, a lot of things were shut down. Basketball wasn't in my vision. I was gonna get a job, but I couldn't get a job because COVID.
There's nothing's open.
Yeah, nothing's open. Yeah. So, me and my brother, Kaelon Montgomery, 6'5", 220 quarterback at North Greenville University. We was in the backyard one day just throwing the football around. He's like, look, bro, you might as well do this because you ain't got nothing else to do with your life. So, I'm like, might as well. So then I ended up walking on to I ended up enrolling to the University of Houston, and I had intentions of walking on, but since it was COVID, I couldn't walk on because everybody had got the COVID era. So there was a lot of guys coming back. So there was no roster spots available for me. So I had to figure out, like, what can I do to get myself onto a college roster with no high school football film. So I ended up uploading some routes on air.
You didn't play one snap of high school football?
Nah, I wasn't even thinking about football in high school.
Crazy.
Yeah, I wasn't even. I was telling myself, I'm going to the NBA. Like, I'm not worried about football. So,
So you're trying to find a program without high school film?
Yeah, without high school film. Okay, so then.
Sorry for interrupting.
No, you good. So I ended up uploading some routes on air onto Facebook, and there's a guy named Eddie Franca who has a flag football team out in Miami, Florida. And he reached out to me. He was like, look, bro, we got a tournament in Vegas. You should come out. Let's see what you got. So I went out to Vegas. I did my thing, and I ended up getting the opportunity to be on the Olympics for flag football. Right. But they told me if I were to do that, I would lose all my college eligibility. And I was like, I didn't start playing football for flag football reasons. So I told Eddie my aspirations of playing in college football. He actually knows Deuce Schwartz. Deuce Schwartz is the offensive quality control coach for the 49ers.
Okay.
At the time, Deuce was at Mizzou. So I ended up forming a flag football highlight tape, ended up getting to Deuce. Deuce sent it to Mizzou and a few other schools. They all liked me, but they were scared to take the chance on me because I never put on football pads a day in my life.
Of course.
Yeah, which made sense.
I get it.
Yeah, so then my film ended up getting to Nicholls State. I got to Nicholls State in the year 2022. I was ineligible that first year because I had switched my major like 4 or 5 times in school, so I didn't have enough credits towards a major. So then 2023 came around. I started. I was a starter in my first 5 games of the season. I ended up missing a game because I had a right ankle sprain injury. I came back and I just lost my spot. It's just a part of the business. Yeah. So then, I had to figure out my next chapter. I ended up entering the transfer portal, and the NCAA told me I had no more D1 eligibility left. I could only play D2, D3, and go down. I don't know. I guess they said because since I've been in school, I've been a full-time student, and my clock started.
These rules are so complicated.
Yeah, so
I can't even.
Yeah, it was weird. So
I can't even.
I just took it for what it was, and I had to find my way. So then Eddie, the same guy who ran the flag football team, knew Coach Jeff Behrman. Coach Jeff Behrman just actually got the job at Bucknell. By the time he was at John Carroll, and he reached out to me and was like, "Hey, Tyren, we saw the first 30 seconds of your film, and we want you." And so then he's like, "Look, we know you got aspirations of playing in the league. We got 40 plus alums in the league, and we can help you get there." So I was like, "Shoot, I'm going to John Carroll," and then. After that, it was history.
How big of a culture shock was it being in cold Ohio? Yeah, they're being from the South.
Yeah, it was disgusting. It was disgusting. Just going from warm weather, being at Christmas time, being at 80 degrees, to going to Cleveland around Christmas time to being in
negative 80 degrees.
Yeah, literally. So that was the only thing I didn't like about Cleveland. But other than that, I had a great experience, great time. And, I just want to shout out to all my coaches there for letting me get my feet wet and learn the game, let me mess up, let me, just elevate. So, yeah.
So what are your goals now? As someone that, I'm sure you're introducing yourself to NFL people now the same way you were introducing yourself to Division I college. So you've been through this before in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So what are you trying to get across to these NFL decision makers about you as a player, but maybe even more importantly, you as a guy, as to why you're someone that they should invest in?
Yeah. I've been through a lot of adversity. Actually, this past season, my mother just passed away.
Sorry.
Yeah. So she was dealing with cancer again, and I'm just a guy who likes to. I'm humbled, I'm hardworking, and I'm hungry. So, that's the things that I live by, and I just want them to know, I'm going to come into whatever team decides to take the chance on me. I'm going to come in there, do my best, get myself on the field, and I'm going to work hard.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, I believe you were listed as a slot on the roster I was looking at.
Yeah.
Do you think yourself as a slot? Do you see yourself as an outside guy? How do you view yourself as a wide receiver?
I view myself as a versatile receiver. If you pull up my John Carroll tape, you'll see I was in the slot on the outside. And if you see some of my jumping abilities, I don't jump like I'm a slot receiver. So I think, I could play anywhere on the field.
What have you done on special teams? Because obviously that's something you're going to have to do right away when you get to the program.
Right. So in practice at John Carroll, obviously my coach wouldn't let me be on special teams in the game, but at practice I used to be a returner, gunner, missile. Like I played
Gunner too, huh?
Yeah. Just to show my speed and stuff. So I'm open to it all. So wherever I fit in will be best.
Dude, that's awesome. And then, have you gotten a combine invite?
Nah,
I imagine probably not, right?
Yeah.
But after they see you here,
Yeah,
you will.
Yeah, man.
So as you have a pro day, though, I'm sure.
Yeah.
What are you trying to really lock in on in terms of getting your time straight and making sure when you do athletic testing that NFL teams know exactly the type of athlete that you are?
Yeah, I think the main thing is a 40. The main thing I've been working on is that start. So
Have you done track before at all? Or
nah. In high school I think I did long jump.
Yeah.
But I never was really running though.
Yeah.
So the one thing I do want to just clean up is just that start on the 40.
So important.
Yeah.
People that cut 0.2 of a second because of the start.
Yeah, so that's the one thing I am working on. So
How about craft as a wide receiver? You talk about what you're good at. What are some things that you're still trying to smooth out, or someone that has not played football very long? I'm sure there's still a lot of like technical things that you're still trying to fine tune.
So I'm a perfectionist, so I feel like all aspects of my game have room for improvement. I mean, I've only been playing 2.5 years, so everything could be cleaned up. When I first got the Nichols, guys used to call me YouTube because I used to steal everything off of YouTube and put it in my game. So I think when I go home, I'm gonna just learn from the reps that I did lose to in the one-on-one stuff and just put my head down and continue to grind, continue to pull stuff from YouTube. And just clean my game up.
Is there someone in the league that you think accurately represents your combination of skill set?
Yeah, so all right, I love this question. So I got 4 receivers that's at the top of my line.
Okay,
Yeah,
what do you-
so I got Devontae Adams and Keenan Allen when it comes to the release packages.
I like Keenan Allen. That's
Yeah.
a good one.
Oh, one guy I do want to slip in that I've been getting a comparison to this week is Stevie Johnson. Stevie Johnson, yeah.
He's a great route runner. Great, a lot of separation back there for the Bills.
Yeah, so
Good one too. I like that.
So when it comes to the release packages, I used to watch all the like mic'd up stuff on YouTube, and I could see them having a ball in their hands. So I kind of just took that and applied it into my own game. Now when it came to route running and stuff, I'll say Calvin Ridley and Odell Beckham. Like in and out day breaks, I feel like our stature is similar, wingspan. So those are my 4 there.
See, everyone always throws like Justin Jefferson at me and Jamar
Boy.
Chase. You had some names.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I like that. That's
Yeah, that's from YouTube. Like it's pretty. Yeah, I've been learning. Yeah.
Dude, it was great getting to know you,
Yeah.
man. Good luck the rest of the week.
Thank you.
Go through the process. Hopefully you get that combine.
Yeah.
I hope to see you in the pros.
Yeah,
man.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Great player interviews right there on the Giants Huddle podcast, brought to you by Citizens, the official bank of the Giants. I love just coming to these events and getting to know these guys. I ended up rooting for all of them because they're all really good kids, and it's fun talking to them and getting to know their stories and who they are as players and people. Excellent job by Drew Fabianich, who's the new executive director, first year of the Senior Bowl. Did a great job. Molly Middleton, who is here doing media relations for them. So just fantastic work. Great job by the entire crew. We really enjoyed being here. And thank you for joining us for our coverage from first the Shrine Bowl and then the Senior Bowl. If you haven't seen those Shrine Bowl interviews, a lot of them are audio only, so go subscribe on your favorite podcast platform, and you can find those audio interviews from the Shrine Bowl there. And you can also find exclusive audio only interviews from the Senior Bowl on the podcast feed as well. So go find those, subscribe on your favorite podcast platform, wherever they might be. Or, of course, you can watch on the Giants YouTube channel, Giants app, or Giants.com/podcast. I am John Schmeelk. I'm ready to come home. I know it's snowy. I know it's cold. I don't care. I'm ready to be home. We'll see you soon. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. We'll talk to you next week.